So A has been having this big challenge recently where he doesn't want to stay buckled. And we got these locks off of Amazon where you can put it on the seatbelt buckle and it will lock the seatbelt in place. So you just need a thin object. You could use a key, it's the most common thing I'll use. But he doesn't like being buckled up and locked in place. And so, yeah, right now he is going to be expressing that. And unfortunately, there's not really much I can do about it. He'll probably calm down here in just a moment. And of course, I also, the excursion we had yesterday, I ended up leaving my sunglasses at the mall. So, we're going out for another excursion right now. Again, A is going to be in the back, unhappy about this whole situation because he doesn't want to be locked up. He wants to really be roam free, but obviously that's not very safe if you're driving a car. So we're also going to be getting some French fries here because that's a staple for A. He likes to eat French fries. With a few exception of things he likes to eat. But regardless, that isn't what I actually want to talk about today. Actually, the things I want to talk about have nothing to do with the kids or autism like the previous video. Rather, I want to talk about the time I called the Suicide Hotline. So, I actually bought coffee this morning, and on the side of the coffee cup, there was a sticker saying that this is Suicide Awareness Week or something like that, and the Suicide Hotline number. And it made me think that this is actually something that was really interesting to bring up. So, about a year ago, that was last year, so it was during 2020 when things were just, 2020-ish. And someone I know was having some suicidal thoughts. And I asked this person if they have a plan, and they said that they did. And so I wasn't really sure what to do. And I figured that the best thing to do in this case was to call the Suicide Hotline and see if I can get some answers. And what ended up happening, instead of getting answers, was I was on hold for probably about at least 10 minutes. I can't remember exactly how long. I know it was at least 10 minutes that it's on hold for. In fact, I was on hold for so long that I ended up just giving up on waiting because I had no idea how much longer it was going to be, and I was sitting in my car after work trying to connect with someone, and I just got to the point where I started thinking, this doesn't seem like it's productive. And it's made me really kind of curious, and actually I should have looked this up beforehand. I don't know why I didn't, but I started wondering, is the Suicide Hotline something that is local, like regionalized, or is it a national line that there's just one centralized place? Because I don't. If this is a case where it's a national issue that you call a suicide hotline and it takes over 10 minutes to talk to someone, that's really concerning to me. And I don't want to be this. I know what the idea behind this whole idea of bringing awareness to suicide and is that we're trying to tell people that, hey, if you're having these suicidal thoughts, don't keep it inside yourself. Call the suicide hotline, get help, and try and help yourself. But if it ends up being a case where someone calls the suicide hotline and just gets left on hold for 10 minutes or more, never even talking to a human being, I really don't. I mean, I'm not an expert on this matter, but from my perspective, I don't think that would be helpful. I would feel like that is just another case where there's no hope, that there is no chance. Now, in my case, I remembered that my workplace, they provided this free counseling service. So it was a place where if you had any kind of wanted to go and get some kind of counseling over any kind of issues, you could call them up, and schedule an appointment. Plus, they also had an emergency after hours number. So I ended up calling the emergency after hours number, and I was able to talk to someone there, and that person who's a professional, she was able to give me a lot of really good advice about how to work through the situation. And this individual that was having suicide thoughts, they never committed suicide. Everybody's fine. So that was not that I don't want to make it seem like anything bad happened there. So very thankful for that. And when I'm thinking about what is the real point here about telling about this, I don't want to be discouraging to people who have actual suicide thoughts, and I don't want to discourage them from calling. Rather, what I really want to do is remind people about the importance of paying attention to the people around you. Calling people, spending time with people as best you can, and asking people how they're doing, and genuinely trying to not interrogate them. There's so many times I have had suicidal thoughts before, and I didn't call the Suicide Hotline. And in these times, I would just so wish someone would actually be there to talk to me, because I'm not someone I don't want to go up to someone and just say, hey, by the way, I'm feeling really down and I just need to talk. That's just not. It's so hard for my personality, especially when I'm at a point where I don't feel like anybody actually cares. It's very difficult, and so having people who are around to just being aware about the people that you work with, your family, the people around you, and checking in on them, making sure they're doing okay. I know, especially this past year, a lot of people have been talking about making sure that their family's okay and their friends are okay, but I think we need to look a bit past the idea of COVID and really focus on the mental health issues, the impact on especially kids, the impact on everybody, from being locked in their houses, locked in their apartments, not being able to go out. It was incredibly tragic watching my kids out, standing in the doorway, looking at their playground that's right outside in the backyard. It's part of our apartment complex. So it's not really the backyard, it's the common area, it's the common yard. That was wrapped in yellow tape. And I was not able to explain to them that they can't go on there. They would just see this playground, not understand that they weren't allowed to go and play on this playground because of some arbitrary rules at that time. And so I think instead of really pushing and saying, hey, if you're feeling down, call the Suicide Hotline, Robert, let's start saying, look, if you're feeling down and you need someone to talk to, I'm here for you. I'm willing to talk. And letting people know that. I really do think that just talking and getting off your chest can help a lot. I even remember watching it was an interview from a guy who he jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge to kill himself. And he was giving the interview after the fact. He actually survived. They were able to pull him out of the water. And he was talking about the whole lead up to it, everything that happened, and how there were so many points where someone could have done something, someone could have said something. Like he was riding on the bus to get to the Golden Gate Bridge, taking an exit to Golden Gate Bridge, and he was just crying in the bus on the way there. And nobody bothered to say, hey, are you okay? Instead, they just looked at him and said, oh my gosh, what a weirdo. What's going on with this guy? He got to the Golden Gate Bridge, and he was walking up and down, just trying to build up enough courage to actually end it all. And during that time, I can't remember how many, multiple police cars passed by, not to mention all the other traffic that was going by. And no one stopped and asked this guy if he's okay. And he said, if someone just talked to me, someone just said, hey, are you okay? He would have broken out, told him everything, and he would never have jumped. And then he goes on to say that after he jumped, after he actually made a decision and could not reverse it, that very instant he made that life-changing decision, he instantly knew that all his problems were not worth dying for, that they were all resolvable, that he could work through it. But at that point, it was too late. And he got extremely lucky. They were able to pull him out of the water, and I think they said, again, I don't remember all the numbers, but they said something like they pulled out 50 bodies out of the water, that crew that pulled them out, and he was the first one that was alive. He's extremely lucky to survive. And it didn't end there. Like, even the struggles he had went on for years after that. But the whole point I want to get at is just ask people how they're doing. If you're seeing someone that looks like they're in distress, just ask them if they're okay, and start having conversations. Like, that very simple question, are you okay, could literally save someone's life. And it's good, yes, I think it's important to have the fallback of the Suicide Hotline. They do great work, and I don't want to disparage them at all. I think the bigger issue here is that there's so many people that need help. That's what causing a 10-minute plus delay just to get your phone, just talk to someone. So, again, it's kind of a bit of a rant and preaching at people, telling them what they should or shouldn't do with their lives, and but that's just my thought on this whole issue. Having being someone who actually has called the Suicide Hotline, that it is not a panacea. The real way that we need to stop suicide is by being human, by opening up, by talking to people, by having conversations with people in need. Well, we're here to get some French fries, so I'm going to have to stop this video here. So, until next time, I'm RJ. This is the story of my life, and if you like this kind of content and you want to hear more from me, please subscribe to the channel. So, thanks so much.